Pat, you're the boss.
Okie dokie. 3, 2, 1. Naylor Beauty School was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media. And at the very least, hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Kia ora, Etefano. Hey guys, it is me, Pat, from Monaco Nail Academy and Patsitive Beauty. Today, I am joined by Penny.
Hi.
By Penny and Erin.
Hello.
And Mel.
Kia ora.
Yay! And today we are going to be talking about just getting your ass started and, like kicking your butt into gear and going full time, like taking the plunge. I know that sounds kind of like all over the place, but that's how my brain is. And I requested this episode. But before we get into the fun that this episode is going to be, I would like Erin to just recap for us a little bit. What was last week's episode about?
So last week's episode was all about the NZ nail comps and just a little bit about what it's about and what's to be expected and our experiences that we had. So yeah, it was a really good episode.
What was your favorite thing about it?
Just sharing our experience to try and encourage people that it's not that scary, even though, and that we get it. Like we understand, we've been there, we get how scary it feels at the time. That was my favorite thing about it.
Yeah. Or like just accept it's scary and just do it anyway, right? Which, yeah.
Before we get started, let me interrupt here and just remind you guys that you can use our codes for 10% off any courses. We do get a kickback from these enrollments, and it's how we support the production of these podcasts. So mine is just Jungle Nails.
Mine is Patsitive.
Mine is Little Moon.
Cool. Back to you, boss Pat.
Thank you. And since I'm the boss this episode, you should so use my code. Nah, jokes. Use anyone's code. So last week we were talking about everything NZ nail comps or nail comps in general. And this week we're going to talk about getting your ass into gear. And Penny will come up with a cool title for that. But essentially, the reason why I requested this episode is because I have been observing in the community that some people, just including myself, will kind of just be like, yeah, and be a little bit wishy-washy about next steps and actually like start charging and like seeing clients. So I thought it would be fun to get these cool brains together with, some with 16 years of experience and some with like very small amount of experience like myself and the full spectrum in between, and just be like, what do you actually need? So this episode is more about experiences and advice. There isn't anything specific that we're going to cover. It's just going to be lots of learning, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. So the first question I am going to put out to the group is, if you had to start over again and you had to focus on like 1 to 3 things, what 3 pieces of advice would you give yourself?
Definitely get yourself an accountant or someone to help with your bookkeeping, because that can be really off-putting to getting started working for yourself. So if you can organize that stuff, then the rest is actually quite easy and more fun, because that's the serious stuff and that stuff sucks. So just get it sorted, get it done, and then you're right. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't straight away, and I had to do like all this catch-up kind of stuff and sort myself out, and it sucked.
I'm literally dealing with that right now, because I kept telling myself, oh yeah, I'm gonna sort it, oh yeah, I'm gonna sort it, and then I tried to get an accountant, and then I was kind of like, I don't know, I got overwhelmed and stopped replying to her. So she was like, I'm not working with you anymore. So now I'm getting all the targeted ads from IRD. Like, I don't know if you guys are getting this, but it's all like, July 7 is coming up and you need to do your individual return. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure out.
Pat, you just need to use Henry, because you're a sole trader.
I don't want to use them because like every time I ask them a question, they like send me like a link and I'm like, I already read that and I don't understand. And so it makes me angry and then I don't want to use them. So
or ask someone else who's using Henry like me.
They're amazing. It's so easy. I wish I had done it from the start.
Same. They're the best.
Yeah, I know they're there.
Okay, but you said that we were allowed to bully you this episode, so
You are allowed to bully me, but you can't bully me back into using Henry. I would rather pay an accountant.
hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah.
But like their communication sucks and it makes me feel very confused. And so,
definitely never
you know.
a future sponsor.
It's so good. So it's funny how it's
Yeah,
so
but everyone else uses it and they're all like super happy. But I'm just like, I don't like it. I just don't understand what they're saying. Yeah, I need more hands-on support.
I won't bully
Yeah.
you into going back to Henry, but if you're not going to go back to Henry, you can't invent other roadblocks. You can't self-sabotage. You have to get an accountant.
I have been tracking my books now, actually. Like I've been writing down my expenses and my income and stuff. So I am on the path to like going back to the past year and figuring everything out. So luckily I didn't earn that much. So that's good.
I learned about Henry, I think it was at the nail comps when pretty much everybody else around the table was like logging their expenses on their phones through Henry. I had a sandwich bag with receipts that I was putting in it because I was doing it all myself. A little bag, put my receipt in it, put it back in my bag. I felt like such a dork. And then I started hearing about Henry, and that's when I swapped from doing it myself to using Henry.
Okay, so that was the first thing from Erin, get an accountant or a bookkeeper. So that's a great piece of advice.
What was the question?
If you were to start over, what advice would you give yourself?
Mine would be, and I've said it in past episodes, just be kind to yourself. Give yourself time. You are going to make mistakes, and it's okay. It's okay to grow and learn. It's good. Like, yeah, be nice to yourself. Be kind. You're not going to be great straight out of training. It takes time. So just allow yourself that time.
If you had to be specific and concrete, what does be kind to yourself mean? Because it's like so easy to be like, yeah, be kind to yourself. But what does that look like in practice?
Okay, so for me, when I first started, if someone would not come back, I would automatically blame myself. I'm sure I've done a shit
Oh, I
job.
do that.
I said blah, blah, blah. When really, their cousin might have started nails. Maybe they lost their job and they can't afford nails. There's a whole multitude of reasons.
Maybe they got ran over.
Yeah, maybe she got hit by a bus. You just don't know. And just
Okay, just for context, so people aren't like, why are they laughing at someone getting run over? This is to do with another podcast episode. I'm pretty sure it was recorded. So no, we are not wishing people get run over. Okay, back to you, Mel.
And then just things like understanding, I think that things like lifting, breaking, chipping, it's not always your fault, which was my go-to, like, oh, I didn't prep properly. I didn't, like, whatever. I always just blame myself, where sometimes they go rodeo riding and they don't tell you, and that's why their nail broke off. It's not always your fault, so just be kind to yourself. And I think as long as you work with your client to resolve whatever issues you've got going on, they're going to appreciate it. Yeah, just be nice to yourself and understand you will make mistakes. You 100% will, but it's how you move on and move forward that matters.
That's really good, Mel. I think like it was so helpful that you gave specific ways that you can be kind to yourself. And I think it's also a reminder that it's a learning curve, right? So we can actually reflect on, yep, this thing happened, but instead of beating ourselves up about whatever it was that happened, we can actually be like, cool, what did I learn from that? And then, just live and let learn, and then you can grow. Because if we're too busy just being like, I'm the worst, horriblest piece of shit nail tech in the world, which are like actual thoughts I have sometimes, which then it's like, that's not helpful. It's not like you're not going to grow from that. So actually, how do I grow from that? What do I learn?
If it helps, I also have those thoughts. Exact same wording. 16 years in. So
it's like, so we're all just really hard on ourselves. Like, wow.
So just don't be. Just give yourself the time and your knowledge will grow. Like when I look back now, when I was trying to learn acrylics and I just could not get them to stick and last. Now I look back and go, she was probably literally the worst person I could have chosen to learn acrylics on. Like, no wonder they last. But then I didn't understand. I just thought, I can't do it. It's not working. Like, I didn't know. So just give yourself time to learn and grow. That's my advice.
Listen to some positive affirmations to teach your brain not to be so hard on yourself.
That's a good one, Erin. I think that's important. I think the words we say to ourselves are so important. yeah, what we surround ourselves with. Good point. Okay, Penny, what would you do? One piece of advice if you had to start over.
I don't know. Because I trained so long ago. Okay, I wouldn't buy all the stuff they told me to buy, but then that's silly because it needs context. Because do I think that you should buy a kit of professional only product? Yes. Do I think that you should be using like you're only as good as your tools? Yes, you need good stuff to be a good nail tech. But what I got suckered into was that my course came with a kit, but then you had the option to buy this, like, I think it was like $6,000 or something, like really expensive. $6,000, 16 years ago, expensive. That was like 5 of every scent of moisturizer in all of the sizes and like just all this stuff. And it came with a desk and things. And I was like, it's perfect. I'll be set up and good to go. And like, no, I didn't need 3 of this and every size of that. And like, I felt like I got suckered in with that. So just don't go silly. Like, get good quality stuff and absolutely make the most of a kit if your course, such as Monaco, offers one. But just don't go crazy and buy like every single color or every whatever. Just calm down.
So you don't need everything at the start, right? You don't need every color of pigment. You don't need polygel and acrylic and
Get a little bit of everything until you know what you love.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That only applies to what I was trying to think, like all the million years ago, what should I have done differently? But if I was gonna say now, what should I think every other new nail tech should do differently? I want you to do proper training.
AKA do it with Monaco. Ha!
Yeah, sure, do it with Monaco if we sound like the best fit for you, but like I don't care who you do it with, just don't do it off YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when I think back to the times that I would do my own nails based on what I learned off YouTube and other people's nails, I'm so glad none of us came out with any allergies. So, proper education, very important.
I think you can learn a lot from YouTube after you've already learned good foundation stuff,
Yeah.
like with Monaco. So you could then watch YouTube and then be like, oh, I want to give that a go, because you then have the knowledge of like how the products work and da 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 da.
Yeah, because like when you think about it, YouTube has a lot of the fun stuff, like, oh, this is how you paint this, and like lots of pretty techniques and whatever. But the foundation of it, like actually preparing the nails and what's safe and hygiene, all of that, none of that is really covered on YouTube. And if it was, how do you guarantee that what you're watching is the right information, right? So yeah, absolutely critical to actually do your research and sign up for a good course, even if it's just to do your own nails, because it's all about being safe. And I have taken us on a tangent, I think. So going back to the topic of this episode, which is really just getting started. If one of our Monaco students, like let's say one of our mastermind girls, like was in the room with us now and she was like, oh, I really want to start taking clients, what would we be saying at a minimum she needs to have to get started? You know, like I think there was a topic about this in one of the Salon Success things, about how there's some restaurant where people just sit on like pallet boxes and like some fancy, it's not even a fancy, it's just a hole in the wall place, pizza place or burger place in New York City. Penny, you tell the story. Like
You just told it. And also, if anybody listens to our podcast regularly, they will have heard it only a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's true. See, the good stories keep coming back. So if we're thinking about that, like the model of just the bare basics, what does this Monaco student, they don't even have to be a Monaco student, what does a person need to really just start charging to be a nail tech, and just get going?
A table, not a dining table.
Yeah, a table where you don't have to like lean, or they don't have to lean. I was going to say, first of all, like we've all said, good education, but then as long as you can carry out your service in a like clean, hygienic manner, with your professional products and your professional lamp, you're good to go. Like, you know, your wipes and stuff like that don't matter so much, but as long as you've got the means to keep your space clean and your tools clean, whether that be disposable or being able to sanitize and disinfect, go hard. You don't need 50,000 colors. As long as you've got a couple of each, you know, like a pink, a red, a white, a blue, a gray, silver, whatever. As long as you've got a couple and you've got your base products that you need, you can start. And you just take people along that journey with you. They want to follow. They want to be your cheerleader, watch you grow, watch you get better. So don't wait until you're a year into your journey. Take people along with you.
Also, more literally, good lighting. You can't fix what you can't see, and you don't need to end every day on a headache.
Oh my gosh, the lighting thing is so true.
It doesn't have to be expensive, just like light.
I have like a $20 light from Temu, and it was so handy when I was doing what was I doing when I was doing like mobile services in the beginning. Before I had that, I had like this random USB light, and it was so frustrating because after every service I'd be like, oh my god, I missed that. And then when I got the Temu light, I was like, I can see better now. And you can actually like, because it's overhead and I can move it around, so it doesn't have to be super duper expensive, but it, you know, just having light to see what you're doing does make a difference.
And you just need a space, you know, you don't need to go into a salon and share with them straight away. You don't need a cabin on your lawn straight away. Like I used to do it in my kitchen. I know Penny used to do it in a bedroom. Like you don't need a space. You just need a space. Like you just need somewhere to set up and do it. Don't focus on like, oh, I need to outlay all this money and buy a cabin or anything like that. You don't need to.
No, and I think just touching on what you were saying before about like they want to go on the journey with you. I have clients that have been with me the whole way through and are still with me now. So you will attract the ones that are right for you and they will stay with you.
And like in a year's time, a year will have passed no matter what. So if you do have a client that comes into your bedroom, like Mel said, like I have had so many iterations of where I did nails as long as I was doing nails. But like Mel said, one of the times I had a nail room, and then me and my boyfriend at the time broke up, which meant that we didn't have 2 rooms now. I only had one lot of money. So I had to move my bed into my nail room. So now nails was in my bedroom. And does that mean that every single person is going to be like, this is the best experience I've ever had and come back? No, I would say, without any statistical data to back it up, that probably less people came back than when I had a standalone nail room. But did I still continue to learn and grow and become a better nail tech and like hone my skills in every single area? Yes. And 16 years later, am I dead? No. That's worst case scenarios. You die. I'm not dead.
You're okay.
My bills are paid and I'm not dead.
There's no buses to run you over in Tyra.
There is one once a day, so calm down.
There's a bus?
Don't jinx me.
I've never seen a bus. Anyway.
The big green Kiwi Experience bus. It stops at 2 tides and everybody gets off and gets coffee, and then everybody gets back on and keeps going.
I've never noticed that bus, but okay. This goes back to how in most of the episodes, for whatever reason, we're gonna end up back talking about mindset, right? Like, if you're the type of person who's like, I'm gonna get it done, you're gonna do it even if it's in your bedroom. But you could also be the type of person who's like, I have a space set up, but I'm not ready, and you're just gonna keep waiting to be ready. But you're never gonna know if you're ready because you're waiting for something. But whatever that something is never gonna show up unless you decide that you're ready. So yeah. I don't know where was I going with that, but like the point is, it's mindset, says Pat.
Imagine if Penny had said, oh my god, I don't have a space anymore, I'm just gonna have to give up and go get another job. Like
that would be so sad.
None of us would be now. She wouldn't be where she is, all because of she let that one thing get in the way.
I think too, like you don't have to, so if you're just getting started, you don't have to be like boom, I'm going to advertise myself everywhere. You can just gradually build up and slowly build your confidence. And eventually, you know, you don't have to go in all guns blazing straight away. Just start. And just if that just starting means that you're only doing 2 clients a week, that's okay. The next week you might do 3 and build from there. Yeah.
That's a really good point. I am just going to recap that we said that the things you need in case somebody's like, oh my God, this happened really fast. What do I actually need? So if you wanted to start charging clients for nails like today, tomorrow, all you need are a good education. So sign up for Monaco. What's everyone gave their codes already? Yes. So go back to the codes at the start. Use one of our codes, get 10% off. Number 2, get yourself a good table. I think we didn't talk about this, but I'm pretty sure most texts talk about 40 to 60 centimeters in depth. And you want this professional quality products. You don't have to have everything, but the basics. And get some lighting that you can really see what you're working with. So those are like 1, 2, 3, 4 things. 4 things. You can handle 4 things. Go do the 4 things.
A really good cost-effective table too. Like if you don't want to go chucking a heap of money at it straight away, you can get those portable tables. They like fold out and they've got a drawer in them and they're the perfect depth. Well, I think they are. They're like $200 or something, and they work so well, and they look tidy.
I am sitting at one of those portable ones right now. It's at my house instead of, because I've upgraded my table, but it is so good. I use it as like my everyday kind of desk. And you can move it around. And I got mine secondhand, so it was $30. So you can shop and get a deal if you're a good bargain hunter.
A funny thing, actually, I think I paid $30 for my first one secondhand, my first portable. Yeah, off
so
like marketplace.
Is someone out there selling it for $30? How good? Keep an eye out.
There is, and that's like, you know, one gel polish service, and you've paid for your table.
Look outside the square. Like, I don't have a nail table. Mine's just a warehouse desk that was about the right. Where there's no drawers or anything, but I just have a set of drawers tucked underneath it. And honestly, I've used it for the whole 4 years that I've been doing nails, and I'll probably never upgrade it because it does the job just fine.
This episode, we have been talking a lot about people who haven't started yet, but really just need to get their ass into gear. But we want this episode to have something for everyone. So maybe we can talk about advice for people who are already started, but maybe they've lost some steam. So if you can put yourself into the mindset of helping someone who's just kind of like, things are fine, but they could be better. Like, what would you say to someone to help get their motivation back up? Whether it's for trying to hustle for more clients or it's trying to spark their love for nails again. If we could just go around the room, so to speak, like what's a piece of advice? I'm going to look at you, Mel. You can go first.
Okay. So I have been here in my nail journey of where I started off with a hiss and a roar and signed up to all these things and really loved it, and then kind of waned back and lost the love for it when it kind of overtook my life a little bit. So I just had to kind of pare it back, remember why I started this journey, and which for me was so I could be with my kids. So I pared it back to allow me to still go to Saturday morning games and still go to Tuesday night practices with them. And then that kind of brought the love back. And then I was back around my avatar again. So I was back where she was, which then brought her to me. So it kind of was a big cycle of, if you've lost the love, remember why you started it. And if you have to, take a few steps back to get back to where you wanted to be. And it's okay to stray off and just come back to where you want to be and get that love back again. And things will grow from there.
So I'm actually kind of in that place at the moment. Like I love my job and I love everything about the nail industry, but I'm like, it's just like life, right? ebbs and flows, like ups and downs. And I've just kind of like, I've got all these things that I know I should be doing too, because my books have been a little bit quieter lately and I should be doing more about it, but I'm just okay with it being a little bit quieter. Like, I've just been like, it's okay. I know it's going to get busier again when I put a wee bit more effort into it, but I just don't want to right now. Like, I'm okay with where it's at. And maybe that's not okay for everybody financially, but for me, it is all right now. So I don't want to push myself to the point where I hate it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be like, it's okay. I don't want to make myself feel like this is something that it's a chore again, like I have with previous work, because that's why I came into this, is because I love it so much, you know? So that's why I decided to make a career out of it, because I loved it. And I don't want it to become something that I hate. So for now, I'm just okay with that.
I think everything you're saying is advice, because it's like you're recognizing the season that you're in and you're giving yourself space to just be, and not putting like unnecessarily high expectations on yourself. You know where you're at.
Actually, that's probably my whole point of that conversation. Thanks, Pat. Like that, what I was saying. Like, yeah, because I am bad for putting high expectations on myself and putting way too much pressure on myself and then overcommitting myself and then hating everything. And I just don't want to do that with this. So learning from my previous life experiences, don't do that this time. And just, yeah. And it goes with your mindset too, like what we were saying earlier. Like, I'm just obviously need to work on my mindset at the moment, and then I will get back into a place where I can put more effort in again.
That sounds really good, Erin. Go with the flow a little bit. That sounds nice. Cute. Okay, Penny, up to you now.
Get yourself around other nail techs. So if there is one thing that I think we all can agree on, it's that like Summit was like life-changing, kind of like, and I don't say that as the organizer, I say it as a person who went to Summit. And then, like, even if you're the most introverted person on the planet, it's get yourself around other nail techs. And I don't say this as a plug for Summit, because I don't care how you get yourself around other nail techs. You need to get yourself around other people who are also passionate about the same things as you. So like when we've had the Monaco sleepover, when we had the winners workshop for the 6-week challenge, when we've had meetups after expo, when we even just see photos of people meeting up in 1s and 2s, or like a group of Monaco people went to the Barbie movie all together, or get yourself to in-person classes where you are sitting in a room for a day with 5 or 6 or 12 other nail techs who all love what you do. Every time, even though I dread it because I'm very introverted and I don't really like people, and I don't really like having to be representative of Monaco, like I like to be in pajamas. So I don't ever look forward to these things, but I always leave being like, oh, I can do the thing. So I think if you are halfway through and you've lost a bit of juice, get yourself around other nail techs, not your normal nail techs, which I say because I know Erin works in a salon with 2 other nail techs. Like, not those ones. Go do a class. Go get a grab a seat and fly to Tyra and hang out with us, Erin.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Like, just contact people. Like with Monaco, we've got regional group chats and stuff. So you can just go into your group chat and be like, hey, let's go for coffee. Like, let's go just find people. Like, even we say all the time, every time that we do a session of recording podcast episodes, we'll be like, oh, that was so good. Like, even putting Mel under the bus she keeps threatening other people with. Like, Mel's husband once, like, he came to pick something up from my house and he was like, oh, recording the podcast yesterday was so good for Mel. She's so fired up now. Like, it's being around other people who love the same thing as you. Like, clients are lovely, great, but our jobs are very solo, and who else is like fueling our passion with us? Like, Instagram can only do so much.
Yeah.
Go find other people.
It's uplifting, it's inspiring. Like, every single person left Summit like inspired to do better.
And I think, just a side note to that, like, when we are working as a nail tech, we're often, similar to other beauty professionals, listening to everybody else's stuff. We become kind of like a therapist in some ways too, like good stuff as well, but sometimes it can be heavy stuff, and that can be really draining. So if you can go out and meet other beauty therapists or nail techs or whatever, and kind of like bounce off each other and vent a little bit, not necessarily betraying your client's confidence on things. Like, you could just be like, oh, I had a client today that had this heavy stuff in their life, and you can just kind of get a little bit of weight off yourself too, because naturally we absorb that, and that can be heavy in itself as well.
And then also, but like, total tangent, even just being in a room where you can go, wait, you did what with spider gel? Like, little ideas that didn't have to come out of your own brain or off Instagram or whatever, but like, just go in, get your nails done by a friend who you can talk nails with while you do it.
If you're thinking to yourself right now that you're like, oh my God, I don't have access to this kind of community, well, then you're in luck. We're going to do a quick ad break, and I'm just picking a random art module because all of this conversation, the last 10-15 minutes, has been about the Monaco community. So if you want access to the Monaco community and you want to get that access for cheap, like, buy one of the Salon Success modules or one of the Art of Nails modules for $15. Let's say you pick the Art of Pigment. Not only do you get a bunch of videos so that you learn about how to use pigment well, and you can like charge people for pigment, but then also you get access to all the regional chats, you get access to the cool mentors, you get access to the Facebook group. So if you want to have like really freaking cool conversations with people all the time, and people talk about weird stuff as well in the chats, not to say you have to have weird conversations, but people hype each other up, people talk about exams, people talk about like clients that they've had, you know, all sorts. And if you just need a bit of a pick-me-up, just hang out in the chats. And if you're like, I don't want to chat with people, that's so weird, you don't have to be in the chat. You can like remove yourself, but then you can join again later. So if you're not in the season for chatty, you can come back later, but at least join the Facebook group. $15, come on, and it'll be 10% off if you use one of our codes. So there.
Speaking of weird conversations, can I just interrupt this to say, Pat, I was just like obviously listening to you guys as well, but also checking my socials. And like, don't say you guys haven't done it, because I know we're all doing the same thing. Anyways, our Chrome swatching video that went up on the YouTube channel is sitting on 500 views.
Oh, cool.
Like,
Awesome.
like normally it's like we have one recent 100 view video, but usually we're like around 40 to 50 views. Maybe in a bad week might be 25, but like 500, Pat. What?
But why did people like that? Because
I don't know.
What?
I loved watching that one. Is that the one with you guys in it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. It was just really cool. It was kind of almost like being in the room with you.
So is this a sign, Penny, we should just do random videos where we just talk to each other? What the heck?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
Well, this is a podcast though. Like
yeah. Well, anyways, I just interrupted, but I just was like, wait, what? Because that's like a pretty typical number of views for one of our shorts. So I was like, oh, I didn't think anything of it because I thought I was seeing that, but it's not. It's a full video.
That's so cool. And it wasn't short either. Like, how long was it?
Like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure they're all not watching to the end, but like,
but still, that's so cool.
So those views are on YouTube?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
One of those views is mine, I think. But only one.
I'll watch it and then you'll get 501.
Woo!
Oh.
I just found it really cool because I was procrastinating about typing up the lesson summary from that evening, and I was like, oh, I want to watch this. And I just sat down on the couch and just like chilled for a bit and watched it. It was just really relaxing. I really enjoyed it. It was fun to watch.
That's cool.
Anyway.
Okay, we have like gone off on a tangent, but okay, I guess we can wrap up soon. So before we do all the rapidy wrap up stuff, what's like one takeaway that everyone, either a takeaway or something that you really want people to know, regardless of whether at the start of their journey or at the middle, something that you feel like nail techs need to know so that they can just keep going on their journey. Penny, you can go first this time. She's making scared eyes at me.
Yeah, what?
Was that a very vague question?
Ask Carl.
Oh yeah, ask Carl.
I see Carl in the background. Ask him. If Carl met you 15 years ago and you were just starting, what would he tell you?
Okay, wait.
He got roped in. I love that.
Mel needs you.
I need you in my life.
Hello.
Hi, Carl. Okay, so my question for you. If you
Mm.
met me 16 years ago when she was just starting her nail tech journey,
Mhm.
what would you tell her? What would be your advice for her? Tell her to like motivate her just to get started and get going.
Setbacks are never really a setback.
Oh, that's so
They're a learning curve.
Oh,
You've got to make mistakes to learn, and it just makes you better at the end of the day.
spot on. And we just put Mr. Carl on the spot and he came out. So
Thanks, Carl.
No worries. See you later, ladies.
Was he listening secretly? Because that was basically your advice earlier, Mel. Like, did you have a mind meld or something? Like, what?
pretty much what I was going to say, like, give yourself the space to make mistakes. And he said it so much better than I could. And off the top of his brain, coming from someone who's not, in our space, he has a totally different career. So there you go. That was amazing.
You're welcome.
That made my heart like go, oh my God.
That's so good. Was there anything anyone else wanted to share before we wrap up?
I just want to know if we've bullied you enough, Pat. Are you going to do the thing?
I don't think I've been bullied, but this, the last few weeks of us doing all these episodes, I really just feel like I'm getting things done and I am like on the right track. So I'm just going to keep going and keep doing things. So yes. And plus, Penny, you can bully me every Monday and Tuesday. So
I think
yeah.
that's kind of a thing, is like when I was saying get yourself around other people, like now that you've been at my house every Monday and Tuesday, like look at all the things we've achieved just by being around each other and motivating each other on just 2 days a week.
Yeah, so good.
Like it really does honestly work.
I just had a thought for the thing for nail techs to know. Don't compare your work to other people's as well. Yeah. There's probably more. I probably need to elaborate on that.
I was waiting for you to give more. I was like, yes.
Like you could be looking, okay, so you're starting out, right? And you could be looking at, say, Penny's page, and she's been doing it for 16 years, and you'll be like, oh my God, my work is so shit. I can't do it like that, or whatever. Or another nail tech that's been doing it for, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, don't compare yourself to yourself. So watch your own improvement, and because otherwise it can be really defeating and it can set you back to mentally, like in your mindset.
It makes total sense. And on that note, like everyone should be taking photos and videos of the work that they do from the beginning, because that's a good way for you to actually go back and see how much you've improved. Like, I don't know how many times I've scrolled down my timeline and I'm like, ooh, I better hide that, because I'll look at it and be like, I thought that was good. And now I'm like, ew, like shut the front.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. Hide that. But you just go back and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm only going to compare myself to me. And honestly, that was bad. But now I'm better. So that's good.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've all deleted a few things that we thought were okay at the time, and then we look back. I mean, and they probably were good at the time. They were probably good for where we were at in our journey. But you know, we look back as we get better, and then it's like, oh yeah, that is really shit.
Also, half the time that you compare your work to other people's work, you're not comparing it to their work, you're comparing it to their photography skills. Like, so
Yeah,
many of
totally.
I'm scrolling and I'm like, oh my God, that set is fire. And then I'm looking, I'm like, actually, it's just blue. Like, it's just a really attractive photo. Or I do a set that I love, and then I'm like, oh, this is going to be so cool. And then I go to like put the photos up, and I'm like, oh, it's a bit shit. But it's not. It's because the photo wasn't like, I'm not a Instagrammer.
So on that note, like if we had to give ourselves advice on in figuring out photography, and that is something that is covered in Salon Success. So before we wrap up, please spend the $15, sign up for a Salon Success module or Art of Nails, because it gets you access to the amazing Monaco Nail Academy community. $15, people. If you're watching from the US, that's not even $15 US, that's $15 New Zealand. So it's even cheaper for you. And then 10% off, like, hello, like no brainer. So please sign up, join us, come hang out. We do talk shit all the time in a nice way, in a fun way. So yeah, so I think that's us. So that's done and dusted. So before you disappear, like our page, follow the podcast. You don't want to miss out on next week's episode, because we will be back with Mel. Do you know what we're doing next week?
Next week we're talking about loyalty program.
I'm so excited. Okay, so you need to come back for that, because how can you miss out on that? Come on. Yeah, so perfect. Until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Search Monaco Nail Academy or follow our salons. Mine is Patsative Beauty. Mel?
Mine's Jungle Nails.
Erin?
And mine is Little Moon Nails.
Awesome. And Penny?
Hard Lacquer NZ.
And technically also Monaco Nail Academy. But anyway, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Kakite!
Bye.
Bye.